AI can be used to design biological weapons. This is gonna be the main news of this week, alongside with some more positive news about AI, one of the biggest crypto hacks in history, a new EU regulation. Let's get smarter about tech with this new episode of This Week in Tech. AI seems to be able to design new biological weapons. Let's try to understand what this means. This is the outcome of a research done by a company called Collaborations Pharmaceuticals, and they published this on the scientific journal Nature last week. So this company is active in the field of drug discovery, which basically means using artificial intelligence to identify new drugs. Their AI model is called Megacin and is designed to identify molecules that have high target activity so that they really are effective to target a specific protein or specific parts of our system, but also low toxicity, which means that they don't kill us. So the company made a thought experiment. They said, let's see what happens if we flip the system around and we ask it to design molecules that have high toxicity instead. They downloaded an open dataset of publicly available toxins, trained this new AI algorithm, and within 6 hours, they were able to find new molecules that are super toxic as VX, which is one of the most toxic molecules in the world, and just a little bit of grains of this molecule, like a drop of salt, can kill a human being. This experiment should spark some conversations around the problem of dual use. This is a very known problem in research when you have some technologies that can be used both for good and for bad. An example is nuclear energy. It can be used to make energy that is clean and positive and nice to use, but it can also be used to make nuclear weapons, right? So AI is a field that very rarely gets into these kind of conversations. But this is another example that we cannot stop postponing these kind of conversations. AI can be used for very evil purposes, as this experiment tells us. And I think what's really scary is the fact that this research, this kind of technology, was built using open source algorithms, so algorithms that everybody can go and read, me and you, but also open data, so data that everybody, both good and bad people, can go and read. And so the speed and simplicity at which evil parties can potentially use this technology is really worrying, and we need to find a solution for this. But so far I haven't seen any approach that seems to be able to solve these kind of problems. AI can now build a 3D render of an object simply starting from a bunch of 2D pictures. Let's see a demo of what this means. These are a bunch of 2D pictures of a woman holding a Polaroid camera. Now you can take these images alongside with the position of the cameras in the scene, give them to an AI algorithm, and get this, which is a 3D render of the person holding the camera. This is a technology called NeRF, or Neural Radiance Field. And basically AI, looking at these images and knowing at the position of the cameras, can try to understand how light bounces off these objects and creates a radiance field. This technology existed since 2020, but it was really slow and it took minutes to these AI algorithms to create one of these simulations. But thanks to a new technology developed by NVIDIA, now you can have the same outcome, the same great 3D rendering in milliseconds. And the applications are a lot. One application is for self-driving cars. Using this kind of technology, self-driving cars will be able to reconstruct the 3D space of what's happening in front of them and so be safer. But I also see a lot of applications in the super hyped metaverse. So you're going to be able to scan an image and get a rendering of an object that you can bring to the metaverse really easily just using your phone. The advancements of AI are always something that amazes me. This kind of application was completely impossible just a couple of years ago. And now, here we go. We have it. Very soon, everybody is going to be able to create these amazing 3D renders just using a smartphone. It's pretty cool, right? The biggest NFT game got hacked for more than $600 million. The game in question is called Axie Infinity, and it's basically like Pokemon, but instead of fighting between each other, you are collecting NFTs of monsters, and you can battle these different NFTs, you can trade them, you can earn some crypto while playing the game. You can basically do a lot of crazy things that allow you to earn crypto money. Now, the game was built using something called a sidechain of Ethereum. And basically what that means is that the developers of Axie Infinity built an application on top of the Ethereum network, but creating their own token and their own infrastructure called Ronin. Now, in order to validate transactions on this sidechain of Ethereum, you needed to have consensus between 9 different nodes. These are 9 servers, basically, that need to vote and validate transactions on the blockchain. That means that it was enough for somebody to get control of 5 nodes out of 9 to do whatever they want with this crypto. And that's exactly what hackers did. The interesting thing is that the hackers managed to hack 5 of these nodes, but without finding a technical bug. It seems like they did social engineering. Basically, they stole someone's password. They managed to get control of these 5 nodes and sent all the $600 million worth of Ethereum to their wallet. Then the weird thing is that they started sending some of this Ether to some accounts on trading platforms like Crypto.com or FTX. And you can know the identity of the people that own these accounts. So probably this was a sign or strategy to try to cover the hackers' trails, because otherwise it will be really dumb because the police knows who owns these wallets, right? Let's see how this is going to evolve, but I think this is very interesting because crypto in theory is a technology that is very safe, but in practice, in cases like this, there are all these crazy hacks that companies seem to not be able to really control. The problem is also the hackers are not gonna be able probably to launder this money and actually use them, because the blockchain is public and you can definitely see and check what the hell are these people doing with all the crypto that they stole. I think if there's anything that we can learn from this, is that crypto, even though it can be promising, is still a pretty immature ecosystem. And so there's a lot to be learned and a lot to improve if we want to get the amazing experiences that companies like Axie Infinity are promising. The EU approved a new draft of the Digital Markets Act, which is a new law that may become effective this year. And the weirdest thing about this new law is that it forces tech companies to make their messaging apps interoperate with each other. What this means is that technically you would be able to use iMessage to send people a WhatsApp or a message on Messenger or a snap on Snapchat. And that's super weird for a bunch of different reasons. The first one is the UX. What does it mean to send a snap on iMessage? Does that mean that Apple is going to have to integrate the user experience of Snapchat so that people that have Snapchat can send snaps to people that have iMessage? That's already weird to just say this sentence, but imagine how messy will it be to use these products. But the biggest problem is the security. A lot of these apps use end-to-end encryption, which means that your messages get encrypted on your device, they get sent encrypted to the other person's device, and then they get decrypted. But imagine if you need to create a bridge so that if you're sending an iMessage to somebody, so using the Apple ecosystem, then Meta, so Facebook, needs to be able to understand that message. That means that the message needs to be decrypted somehow, and potentially this could be a huge security and privacy backdoor for consumers. As usual, the weird thing about these regulations is that they say what companies have to do, and we may even agree with these concepts, but it doesn't take into account a lot the technical feasibility of these things or the practical details of what these kind of new regulations will entail. And so I'm really puzzled. I really hope that this is not going to happen, because otherwise the experience of sending messages on iPhones or Android phones is going to become a bit shitty. Thank you for watching this week's episode of This Week in Tech. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, I suggest you do that, because I'm gonna help you every week stay up to date with technology and be smarter about all the crazy stuff that is happening in the world of tech. And please forward this video to your friends as well, so you're gonna help them as well being up to date with this crazy world of technology. That being said, I'm gonna see you next week. Ciao. Before I leave you, I want to tell you that I started my new community programs. In these community programs, you're going to get access not just to these videos, as well as all the research links that I had to read to know about this news, but you're also gonna get access to bi-weekly deep dives. These are 1.5 hour sessions that I do on Zoom, where people can come in, listen to me speaking for 45 minutes about the most important topics in tech. I usually take just one, really dissect into the most important things and explain it well for 45 minutes, and then we participate in a conversation when together we try to understand how this new technology or this new trend is going to impact society. I'm going to leave the link so you can check out more information and join it if you want.